The year was 2387, and humanity had reached far beyond what anyone a century ago could have imagined. Space stations circled distant planets, ships traveled between stars, and humans had begun exploring moons that were once only points of light in the sky. Yet Europa, one of Jupiter's icy moons, remained one of the most mysterious places in the solar system. Beneath its thick ice crust lay a vast, dark ocean, hidden from the sun's warmth, frozen over for millennia. It was here that a team of human scientists prepared for a discovery that would change everything. Dr. Maya Sullivan, the mission's lead scientist, stood on the observation deck of the Europa research station. Her eyes fixed on the deep scanning monitors. The station floated above the ice in orbit, tethered only by technology and hope. "Sensors are picking up something," she said quietly, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and disbelief. The object appeared faint at first, a subtle metallic signature buried beneath layers of ice and frozen water. But as the submersible scans continued, the shape became clearer. It was not natural. The object was angular, symmetrical, and enormous. It had the unmistakable outline of a spaceship, sunk and frozen in the icy depths of Europa's ocean. Maya turned to her team. This isn't debris from any human mission. This is something older. Something alien." Her words hung in the air, heavy with wonder and fear. The room was silent for a moment, every scientist lost in their thoughts. The implications were staggering. Humanity had discovered life before, but this was different. This was an artifact, a vessel of a civilization that no human had ever met. Weeks passed as the team planned their descent. Europa's ice was thick, kilometers of frozen water that resisted every attempt at penetration. Engineers worked tirelessly, designing a submersible that could survive the crushing pressures of the deep ocean, break through the ice, and explore the metallic structure without causing damage. Every detail mattered, every calculation could mean the difference between success and disaster. Finally, the day came. The submersible, sleek and silver, lowered itself slowly through the hatch in Europa's ice crust. Inside, 2 pilots and an AI-assisted navigation system guided the craft toward the anomaly. Outside the viewport, the ice stretched endlessly, a shimmering blue-white wall that seemed almost alive in the faint light. As they descended into the dark ocean beneath, the shape of the ship became more apparent. It was massive, hundreds of meters long, and covered in patterns that seemed almost organic, like veins of metal running across its hull. The submersible's lights reflected off its surface, revealing the faint glow of materials that should not have been luminous. Dr. Rafik, the submersible's co-pilot, gasped. "It's beautiful. And alive?" Maya's eyes widened. "The sensors look. The readings are responding to our presence. It's as if the ship knows we are here." The submersible moved closer, careful not to touch the ancient vessel. Tiny pulses of light ran along the ship's hull, tracing their approach like a silent welcome or a warning. The team debated for hours whether to penetrate the ship's outer hull. It was risky. They did not know what defenses, if any, might still exist. But curiosity and the human drive to explore won. Using a combination of precision lasers and newly developed ice-melting technology, the team created a small opening in the ship's outer shell. A hatch, previously sealed for centuries, slowly rotated open. A soft hum filled the submersible, as if the ship itself exhaled after a long slumber. Maya leaned forward, her hand trembling slightly. "Prepare to enter. Slowly. Carefully. We don't know what's inside." The first step was small, just a robotic probe sent through the hatch. It floated inside, lights illuminating an interior unlike anything the humans had seen. The walls seemed to shift subtly, as if the structure itself was breathing. Patterns of glowing lines ran across the floor and ceiling, pulsing in rhythm with the hum. Symbols, shapes, and strange glyphs moved fluidly, rearranging themselves as the probe scanned them. "It's alive," whispered Dr. Lena Torres, the mission's linguist. "Not alive in the sense of biology, but aware. It responds." Maya nodded. "And it's intelligent. This ship? It's a library. A world of knowledge frozen in ice. But it's also a test. I can feel it. After much deliberation, the humans prepared for the full entry. The submersible transformed into a docking chamber that would allow them to enter the alien vessel without being exposed to the unknown ocean pressures outside. The team suited up, their exosuits glinting in the dim light of the submersible. When they crossed the threshold, a quiet awe settled over them. The interior was vast, larger than the submersible itself, with ceilings that seemed to stretch higher than the human eye could see. Every surface pulsed with soft light, illuminating corridors that twisted in geometries that defied Euclidean understanding. The air, or what the ship supplied, was breathable, conditioned perfectly for humans. It was as if the ship had been waiting for visitors like them. Dr. Rafik moved forward cautiously, scanning the walls with handheld devices. The material, it's unlike anything we have. The structure adapts to us. It's learning about us as we move. Maya's heart raced. This is why humans are explorers. We adapt, we learn, and apparently, so does this ship. The team spent hours exploring the first section of the ship. Strange objects floated without support, glowing with a gentle light. Instruments that appeared alien in design responded to the humans' thoughts and gestures. Buttons, levers, and panels rearranged themselves as if inviting interaction. Every step forward revealed more wonders and more questions. Then they found something that made them stop. A chamber in the center of the ship, circular and vast, with a pedestal in the middle. Hovering above it was a glowing orb, casting intricate patterns across the walls. The orb reacted immediately to the human's presence, spinning gently and emanating a soft hum. This is the heart of the ship," said Lena. Her voice shook slightly with reverence. "It's some kind of interface. It wants us to interact." Maya reached forward tentatively. As her fingers approached the orb, it pulsed brighter, and images filled the air. Holographic projections of distant stars, alien worlds, and structures that seemed impossible. The ship was showing them the universe, revealing secrets humanity had never imagined. "Look at this," said Rafik, pointing to the star systems projected before them. "Some of these stars, we didn't even know they existed." The realization hit them all. This ship was not just a vessel. It was a repository of knowledge, a beacon left behind by a civilization that had long since vanished. And humanity, by finding it, had been chosen to inherit its secrets. Maya felt a thrill she had never experienced. This changes everything. We have to study it. Carefully. Respectfully. This ship has been waiting for us. And it's teaching us. But why here? Why Europa? Lena spoke softly. Perhaps because humans are different. We survive, we explore, and we persevere. Maybe that's what the ship recognized. For the first time, the team felt the weight of humanity's potential. They were not just explorers, they were the bridge between the known and the unknown. And as they continued deeper into the ship, more corridors, more chambers, and more wonders unfolded before them. By the time they returned to the submersible for the night, the team was exhausted but exhilarated. They had seen only a fraction of the ship's interior, and already their minds were racing with possibilities. New technologies, unknown worlds, and untold knowledge lay waiting. Humanity had always reached for the stars, but now, the stars were reaching back. Before they left the first chamber, the orb pulsed once more. It was not a warning, it was not a threat, it was a greeting, and perhaps, a promise. Maya looked at her team, eyes shining with determination. "We've just begun. Tomorrow, we go deeper. And when we do, we find out what this ship is really capable of." Outside, Europa's icy ocean stretched endlessly, silent and dark. But inside the sunken spaceship, a new light had awakened, and for humanity, the future had just begun. The sunken ship beneath Europa's ice was more than a vessel, it was a world within a world. After their first day of exploration, the human team had only scratched the surface. Dr. Maya Sullivan and her crew knew that the deeper they went, the stranger and more revealing the ship would become. The following morning, the team prepared to re-enter. Their submersible docked smoothly, and this time, they carried additional equipment: scanning tools, recording devices, and AI-assisted mapping systems. The first chamber had already hinted that this was no ordinary ship. The walls had pulses that responded to human presence. The lights shifted like living energy, and the hovering orb had projected star maps and alien worlds. "This is like nothing humanity has ever seen," said Dr. Rafik as he floated inside the chamber. "Everything here adapts to us. It's learning about our movement, maybe even our thought patterns." Dr. Lena Torres nodded, eyes wide with fascination. "I can almost feel it, thinking. Or testing. This isn't just technology. It's intelligence. A form of intelligence that doesn't need flesh." The team moved carefully into the next corridor. The walls here were more elaborate, shimmering with lines of glowing symbols. As they walked, the symbols shifted, forming patterns that were initially indecipherable. But with AI assistance, they began to detect repeating sequences, almost like a language or a map. "Look at this," Maya said, pointing at a sequence on the wall. "These lines move like equations, but not our kind of math. It's alien mathematics, but there's a logic we can follow. We just have to think differently." Rafik smiled. "Typical humans, always finding patterns, always adapting." "I think this ship expects it." As they advanced, the ship became stranger. Gravity seemed to shift subtly. Corridors bent in impossible ways, and some rooms appeared larger on the inside than they should have been. Floating platforms hovered in midair, glowing softly. Some objects moved in response to their gaze, aligning themselves in symmetrical patterns. "This place is alive," Lena whispered. "It's aware of us. And I think it wants us to explore, to understand, to learn." Then they entered a room unlike any other. It was enormous, circular, with a domed ceiling that stretched far above their heads. In the center floated a sphere of light, larger than the one in the first chamber. This orb seemed even more responsive, pulsing faster as the humans approached. Maya reached forward. The moment her hand neared the orb, a flood of images and sensations washed over her mind. Stars, planets, alien cities, and vast ships filled her vision. She felt knowledge entering her, not in words, but as understanding. Physics that humans had never imagined. Energy systems beyond fusion. And travel methods that challenged everything humanity knew. Rafik gasped. "It's giving us information. All of it. Every detail is flowing into our minds. This is incredible." Lena stepped closer, her own mind swirling with visions. "It's teaching us, but it's also testing us. These sequences, these puzzles, they require human intuition, creativity, and reasoning. Machines alone couldn't solve them. We are part of the process." The team spent hours in the chamber, interacting with the orb. Every touch, every thought, shaped the patterns around them. The ship responded, adapting to their curiosity and intelligence. Some corridors opened only when they approached in a certain way. Some panels revealed alien technologies when touched with the right combination of gestures. At one point, the ship presented a puzzle. A series of holographic star maps, overlaid with moving symbols. Lena and Maya studied it carefully. "These are coordinates," Lena said, "but they aren't fixed. The stars shift, almost like they're alive. And the symbols, they're a code. We need to decode it to see the paths." They worked together, humans and AI complementing each other. Days passed in what felt like hours. The orb seemed to measure their patience, creativity, and persistence. Finally, a sequence unlocked, revealing a hidden section of the ship. A door, previously invisible, slid open silently, revealing a room filled with crystalline structures. The crystals hummed with energy, reacting to the human's presence. When touched, they projected three-dimensional models of alien planets, civilizations, and technologies. It was a library of a species that no human had ever met. A civilization that had mapped the stars, harnessed energy in ways humans could only dream of, and explored the universe in silence. "This is beyond imagination," Rafik said. "We are standing in a museum of the cosmos." Maya smiled. "And we are the first humans to understand it. That's why this ship exists, to pass on knowledge to those capable of understanding it." But the ship was not just a museum. As the team delved deeper, they encountered sections that challenged them. Rooms that bent perception, puzzles that required lateral thinking, and interactive sequences that tested memory, pattern recognition, and intuition. The ship was a teacher, and the humans were the students. One evening, while exploring a chamber filled with floating geometric shapes, Lena discovered something extraordinary. The shapes moved in response not just to thought, but to emotional states. Calm, focused thoughts made the patterns align. Frustration or fear caused them to scatter. "This is incredible," Lena said softly. "It's teaching us that intelligence is not just logic. Empathy, patience, creativity, all of it matters." Maya nodded. "That's why humans, we think differently than machines. We adapt, we feel, we imagine. That's what this ship recognizes." As days turned into weeks, the team uncovered more secrets. They found alien energy systems that could revolutionize human technology, star maps revealing habitable worlds, and devices that could manipulate matter in ways humanity had never conceived. Yet the most remarkable discovery was the ship's interactive intelligence, a consciousness without a body, responding to thought, emotion, and intuition. One night, as the team rested in the submersible docking chamber, Maya reflected on everything they had seen. "This ship, it's a test and a gift. It's showing us what we are capable of when we work together, when we are curious, and when we respect knowledge. Humanity is ready for more than we imagined." Rafik smiled. "And we've barely begun. There's so much more inside. The ship is infinite in ways we can't even measure." The next day, they entered a new section, where the walls themselves seemed to be alive. Pulses of light traced their movements, and the floor shifted gently beneath their feet, guiding them toward a central chamber. In this room, a holographic projection of the universe expanded before them. Stars, galaxies, and nebulae stretched endlessly, with paths illuminated that led to unknown worlds. "This is a map," Lena whispered. "What we could achieve." Maya reached out to touch the projection. As her hand passed through it, a new image appeared. A human figure, standing tall among alien civilizations. It was not a vision of war or conquest, it was a vision of exploration, collaboration, and understanding. The orb in the center pulsed once more. Its glow intensified, filling the room with warmth and light. The humans realized that the ship was not just technology. It was a message, a guide, and a teacher. It had waited for the species that could understand it, the species capable of using knowledge wisely. "This ship, it chose us," Rafik said. "We're ready, Maya. We can do this." Maya felt a swell of pride and determination. Humanity had always dreamed of reaching the stars. But now, the dream was within their grasp. They had proven themselves not with strength or weapons, but with intelligence, curiosity, and cooperation. As the team prepared to return to the submersible, the orb pulsed one last time, sending a wave of energy that filled them with understanding and inspiration. The ship had more to teach, more to reveal, but humanity had passed the first test. They had proven that they were ready to take the next step in the journey the universe had set before them. And as they emerged from the alien vessel, the human team knew that everything had changed. The sunken spaceship beneath Europa's ice was no longer just a relic of the past. It was a doorway to the future, and humanity was ready to step through. The submersible emerged from the sunken spaceship beneath Europa's icy ocean, carrying humanity's first explorers of an alien world. Dr. Maya Sullivan, Dr. Rafik, and Dr. Lena Torres felt the weight of what they had discovered. They were no longer merely scientists, they were witnesses to a civilization far older and wiser than any humans had imagined. And they had been entrusted with knowledge that could change the course of human history. As the team returned to the Europa research station, they began cataloging everything they had observed. The ship's interior had revealed technologies that challenged human understanding. Energy systems that did not rely on fuel as humans knew it. Devices capable of manipulating matter at an atomic level, and star maps indicating thousands of habitable worlds beyond the reach of previous human exploration. Maya spoke to the team during a briefing. This is more than a discovery. This is an opportunity. Everything we've seen, every puzzle, every holographic projection points to one truth. Humanity is ready for a new chapter. The other scientists nodded, their faces a mix of excitement and awe. They had spent years exploring the cosmos, yet nothing had prepared them for this. The sunken ship had tested them, guided them, and in the end, had recognized human ingenuity, curiosity, and morality. The first step was understanding the ship's energy systems. Rafik led the research, analyzing devices that seemed impossible. These systems don't just store energy, they create it from the environment itself. Gravity, magnetic fields, even light. It's clean, limitless energy. If we can harness even a fraction of it, humanity's energy problems could disappear forever. Lena focused on the star maps and alien data. The ship has mapped hundreds of potential worlds. Some have the conditions to support human life. Others contain resources we could never find on Earth or Mars. And look, these maps also contain routes between stars. Faster-than-light travel is possible. This civilization solved it. And now, we can too. Maya oversaw the integration of the alien knowledge with human understanding. The team worked tirelessly, documenting every discovery, testing every theory, and ensuring that their work was precise and safe. Unlike machines or artificial intelligence, humans brought something unique: intuition, ethics, and adaptability. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, the humans began to unlock the secrets of the ship. Energy systems were replicated in small test modules. Star charts were cross-referenced with human observations, and early prototypes for faster-than-light travel were designed. Each breakthrough was a testament to human creativity and perseverance. Meanwhile, news of the discovery began to spread. Humanity's space agencies, scientists, and governments were astonished. The sunken ship was no longer a local curiosity. It was a global treasure, a gift from a civilization that had trusted humans to handle knowledge responsibly. Yet the humans faced new challenges. Other alien species, observing from afar, took notice of humanity's progress. Some were curious, some cautious, and others wary of what humans might do with this advanced technology. Maya understood the stakes. We have to show that we can be responsible, that we can use this knowledge for exploration and understanding, not conflict. Humanity's future depends on it. The team also discovered something unexpected. The ship contained lessons not just in science and technology, but in philosophy and culture. Holographic projections depicted civilizations that worked together in harmony, species that collaborated instead of competing, and societies that valued curiosity and creativity above conquest. Lena reflected on this one evening. The aliens left us more than knowledge. They left us guidance. They understood that intelligence without wisdom can be dangerous. That's why they tested us. And we passed. Rafik smiled. Humans are strange. We fight. Yes. We struggle. But we also innovate, dream, and adapt. I think that's what made the difference. As the months passed, humanity began to implement the ship's knowledge. New energy systems lit cities across the solar system, making fossil fuels obsolete. Prototypes of faster-than-light engines were built, capable of exploring the stars within human lifetimes. The ship's data on habitable worlds inspired new generations of explorers and scientists. Humanity's understanding of the universe expanded faster than anyone had thought possible. Yet for Maya and her team, The most profound realization was the lesson of ethics and responsibility. The ship had offered them incredible power, but it was not given as a tool for dominance. It was a test, a challenge, and a gift. How humanity chose to use it would define their place in the galaxy. One evening, Maya returned to the docking chamber where the submersible had first entered the ship. The orb was gone, but its presence lingered in memory and in the data they had collected. She placed her hand on the console, imagining the glowing energy and holographic stars. "This was never about possession," she said softly. "It was about growth. It was about proving that humans are capable of wisdom, creativity, and cooperation." That's what the ship recognized. That's what humanity can become. Rafik entered the chamber, smiling. "And we will. We have the knowledge, yes. But more importantly, we have the drive. Humans always push forward. We always adapt. That's why we were chosen." The two scientists looked out through the viewport at Europa's icy surface, bathed in the faint light of Jupiter. Beneath them, the sunken spaceship rested silently, a monument to an ancient civilization and a beacon of hope for the future. From that day forward, humanity embarked on a new era. They sent ships to the star systems indicated by the alien maps, establishing research outposts on distant planets. They built fleets of exploration vessels, powered by energy systems derived from the ship. And everywhere they went, humans carried not just technology, but curiosity, ethics, and the determination to understand the universe without destroying it. The alien ship, resting beneath the ice, had changed everything. It had given humanity a chance not just to survive in the stars, but to thrive, to reach heights that once seemed impossible. Humans were no longer simply explorers, they were pioneers of a new galactic era. Maya, Lena, and Rafik watched as the first test ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel. The stars that had once been distant and unreachable were now within their grasp. Humanity had proven itself capable of wisdom, cooperation, and ingenuity. And somewhere deep within Europa's ocean, the sunken spaceship remained silent, as if watching and waiting for the next generation of humans to continue the journey. It was a new dawn for humanity, one shaped not by conquest, but by curiosity, not by weapons, but by intellect, and not by fear, but by the courage to explore, learn, and grow. The universe was vast, mysterious, and filled with wonders. But humans had shown that they could rise to the challenge. They had unlocked the first doors of a cosmic future, and the message was clear. Wherever humans went, whatever challenges awaited, they would not only survive, they would thrive, proving once again that the human spirit was capable of greatness beyond imagining.